Good evening and welcome to Monday, June 20th, 2022, Onslow County Board of Commissioners meeting. This time we'd like to ask our county manager, Ms. Sharon Griffin, for the invocation.
Thank you and good evening, Vice Chairman Foster and Commissioners. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and conduct the business of Onslow County. Lord, be with the commissioners tonight in their deliberations and grant them wisdom and guidance as they address the items on tonight's agenda. Lord, during these months of summer, guide our steps and strengthen our hearts. May our community be a place of joy, peace, and safety. Let all the joys of summer remind us of your goodness. Bless our citizens, first responders, and those defending our nation. May all we do this day bring you honor and glory. Now, with deep respect and reverence for the faiths, beliefs, and traditions of those gathered here tonight, join me in a moment of silence. Amen.
Thank you. This time we ask you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Assistant County Manager, Ms. Sherry Slater.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognize our elected officials that have joined us this evening. Ms. Amiga Jarman, our Register of Deeds, Sheriff Hans Miller, and Colonel Chris Thomas. I don't think we had anyone else come in this evening. Thank you. We ask that all in attendance please set your cell phones to silent or vibrate mode. The board offers the public one opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to no more than 5 minutes and may be on any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners has control. In accordance with the board's adopted rules of procedure, commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the commissioner comment period on the agenda. At this time, we'd like to have
Vice Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove item 2C, C, July 4th, 2022, Town of Swansville fireworks display.
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approval of the items on the consent agenda. Do we have any that need to be moved from the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, public comment. Ms. Griffin?
Vice Chairman, no one has signed up this evening for public comment.
All right, thank you. Proclamations. Ms. Griffin, if you want to lead us down there.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairman and Commissioners. We have 3 proclamations this evening. Our first one is for International Widows Day. I'll read it into the record. State of North Carolina, County of Onslow, proclamation, International Widows Day, June 23rd, 2022. Whereas there are currently nearly 14 million widows in the United States, 258 million widows globally, and 585,000 children who are directly affected by the loss of a father. And whereas the loss of life of a life partner is very difficult and the pandemic has worsened the situation during the past several months with a devastating human loss and one that is likely leaving tens of thousands of people newly widowed at just the time when they are cut off from their usual socioeconomic and family support system. And whereas the United Nations has observed June 23rd as International Widows Day since 2011 to draw attention to the voices and experiences of widows and to galvanize the unique support that they need. And whereas now more than ever, this day is an opportunity for action towards achieving full rights and recognition for widows throughout the world. And whereas even when national laws exist to protect the rights of widows, weaknesses in the judicial systems of many states compromise how widows' rights are defended in practice. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Onslow County Board of Commissioners declares June 23rd, 2022 as International Widows Day and encourages all citizens to join in raising awareness and providing compassion and legal protection to those who have lost a loved one. presented this the 20th day of June, 2022, by the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. And I believe that Vice Chairman has asked Commissioner Buchanan to present this proclamation to Ms. Megan Kopka.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure to see you as well. Thank you.
This is very important. I mean, it's the widows of our fallen soldiers, our fallen military, and being a former Marine myself, I dealt with the same situation with a lot of my friends over the years. And there's a lot of the other things that we deal with, our wives, those of us in law enforcement, we go out to work every day. I can see the sheriff in the back and Chris, and do we come home at night? Some of our guys have not. Some of our officers that we've known over the years have not come home. So there's widows there also on our law enforcement side of the house, our military side of the house, but it's an honor and a privilege for me to give you this plaque.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good evening. Commissioners, thank you so much for a second year for recognizing International Widows Day. This is a day of observance proclaimed by the United Nations. We are what we consider fortunate widows being in the United States, and so we take the charge of trying to help recognize widows everywhere where there are human rights violations that occur when you lose your husband. And without that, I'm here to say it's bad enough. I was a caregiver for 4 years, and everyone will tell you how stressful caregiving is. What they never tell you is that the worst is yet to come. Losing your spouse is the most stressful event somebody can undergo. We saw it recently in Uvalde. A man suffered a heart attack after losing his wife. It's called broken heart syndrome. So we at the Modern Widows Club, we follow what's called the 7 pillars of healthy living. We learn how to be physically healthy again, emotionally healthy, relationally healthy, financially healthy, and so on. And so relationships are really important. Building them amongst one another is very important. I'm really honored to have Gail with me this year. She is my co-advocate. And I'm very honored that my mother and father-in-law were able to attend to see me receive this. My relationships are better because my husband lived and because he loved me. And my family continues to keep me in their family, and that's not the case for a lot of widows. So I'm very, very fortunate to have married into such a loving, strong family, and just appreciate the bonds that he's created in your community, and just know that the Modern Widows Club is here. So if you will, please refer a widow to us. We work really hard to help women rebuild their lives and lean into resilience. And Gail, do you want to say a couple things? Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Onslow County.
Our next proclamation is in recognition of Elder Abuse Awareness Month. I'll read it into the record. State of North Carolina, County of Onslow Proclamation, Elder Abuse Awareness Month 2022. Whereas protecting Onslow County's vulnerable and older adults is a community responsibility, and all citizens are charged under state law to report suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation to their local Department of Social Services. And whereas in 2021, Onslow County Department of Social Services received 480 reports of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of vulnerable and older adults. And whereas elder abuse can take many forms, including physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, as well as neglect, abandonment, and financial exploitation. And it is important for all citizens to learn how to recognize and report mistreatment, which can occur in families, long-term care settings, and communities. And whereas the way we treat our older citizens reflects our values as a society, and it is our shared responsibility to ensure all our seniors receive the support and protection they deserve. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about elder abuse and neglect and promote the dignity and well-being of our older citizens, now therefore be it proclaimed the Onslow County Board of Commissioners recognize June 2022 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month and encourage all citizens to dedicate themselves to protecting the quality of life for each and every older adult. Presented on the 20th day of June 2022 by the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. Vice Chairman has asked Commissioner Bennett if he will please present this proclamation to our representatives from the Onslow County Social Services Department.
Thank you. Our population is aging more every day. Those of us in the baby boom generation are getting older. I just read there's 74.6 million adults over the age of 60 in the United States now. So it's just more and more opportunities for abuse, and we all need to be aware of the issues and vigilant to help stop aging abuse, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for recognizing Elder Abuse Awareness Month. I have with me this evening Susan Thigpen, our Deputy Director who oversees our Adult Services Programming, and Elizabeth Patterson, our Adult Services Supervisor. Elder abuse doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but it is a community issue and it's a community problem that we are all responsible for. Our agency and our social workers investigate elder abuse, neglect, exploitation, and self-neglect. COVID impacted our entire community, but the impacts of COVID on our elderly population were tremendous, and we continue to work to ensure our adults in our community are safe and protected. So we thank you, and if anyone wants information about elder abuse or neglect, certainly feel free to reach out to our department. We'll come out and do as much community education as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final proclamation this evening is about recycling. I'll read this into the record. State of North Carolina, County of Onslow, Proclamation, Recycle Right, North Carolina. Whereas single-stream recycling programs that emphasize the collection of cans, bottles, cardboard, and paper recover the highest tonnages most efficiently, and whereas recycling creates jobs, saves energy and water, gas emissions, preserves natural resources, and conserves landfill space. And whereas 51,000 households in Onslow County recycle more than 40,000 tons of recyclable products each year. And whereas the increasing amounts of non-recyclable items or contaminants being placed in recycling bins compromises the quality of truly recyclable materials. And whereas educating residents about which items go into the recycling container is the most effective way to recover the most recyclable material and avoid contamination. And whereas we must continue to work together to properly recycle and manage materials throughout their life cycles and ensure that every citizen's right to a healthy environment is fulfilled and protected. And whereas participation in the Recycle Right North Carolina campaign is an effective way to raise awareness about the need to recycle only the items accepted by local recycling programs. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Onslow County Board of Commissioners do hereby pledge support and participation in the Recycle Right North Carolina statewide campaign as an opportunity to manage our resources responsibly and creatively, and we recommit ourselves to building a brighter and more sustainable future for all people, presented on the 20th day of June, 2022 by the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. And Vice Chairman has requested that Commissioner Mark Price present this to representatives from Onslow County Solid Waste, who are approaching now. And we do want to welcome our new Solid Waste Director for the first time this evening, Mr. Tim Ongst. So he is coming forward with some staff members.
Not exactly known as an environmentalist, but when I learned I can save money, that gets my attention. And so you can save money by recycling. The cost of your garbage that you dump, whenever you recycle, it doesn't go against. It's not counted in the pounds. Whenever you go across the scales, that doesn't count for the amount that you're charged. And so, now I'm washing cans and cleaning out spaghetti jars and sorting all that stuff now because I'm motivated to do it because there's an economic incentive to do it. So also don't put those plastic bags in those big containers either because that gums up the machinery. They need just the recyclables in there. And the little blueberry cups, I learned they can't recycle those either because it's a different kind of plastic. And I don't understand that, but they can't recycle those. So help them out and help yourself out. Save some money. And we just appreciate all the solid waste does for Onslow County. And sir, would you like to step up and say a few words?
I'll leave it to our recycling coordinator.
Okay.
So on behalf of Solid Waste, we accept the proclamation and we thank our commissioners.
Thank you. All right. Welcome aboard.
All right, Mr. Warren, our Assistant County Manager for the Intergovernmental Service Agreement.
Good evening, Vice Chairman Foster and Commissioners. In September of 2020, the county entered into an intergovernmental service agreement with Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune to assist the base with the maintenance and repair of some of their heavy equipment vehicles. Over the last 18 or 20 months, we've evaluated that process and determined that the repair of the vehicles has worked extremely well, but there are some kind of housekeeping steps to ensure that we have the proper points of contact and that we're providing estimates ahead of the work being done, just to ensure that we have better communication between the base and the county before we actually begin the repair process. And so what we're proposing this evening is to amend the IGSA agreement to add a I-procurement step in the process. And what that does, it's a step that basically assigns the specific point of contact from the unit that's requesting vehicle service, provides an estimate up front so that we ensure the funds are available from the base to make the repairs, and just really streamlines the entire process for both agencies. And so that's the request this evening, is that the commissioners approve the proposed intergovernmental service agreement for heavy equipment repairs and authorize the county manager to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Warren. Surplus land, Ms. Christina Russell.
Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. So we have received another surplus land offer for parcel number 064751, which is Breezy Lane. The amount of the citizen's offer was $8,000. And this is approximately 0.35 acres in size. So the statute allows the county to sell the property that no longer serves public purpose and is uneconomical and inefficient. The county's standard practice has been to sell the surplus property using the negotiation offer, advertisement, and upset bid process. This process allows other interested parties to submit offers that they're interested within the 10-day period. If no upset bid offers are received within the 10-day period, the land will be sold to the citizen. If we do receive upset offers, the highest offer will be brought back to the board for consideration. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners approve resolution number 22-007, which authorizes the purchasing division head to conduct the sale of the property using the negotiated offer, advertisement, and upset bid process, and to authorize the vice chairman to sign the resolution on behalf of the county.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, fantastic. Thank you. Mr. Clay Calhoun.
Good evening, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. Senior Services remains to be the Home and Community Care Block Grant Lead Agency. This grant is received annually. This grant also provides us for funding for in-home services, adult daycare, transportation, and nutrition services. The total grant for this year is $736,550. There's a local match of $81,839. This has been met with the existing Senior Services operational budget appropriation. No additional monies will be required. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. It is respectfully requested that the board consider approval of the grant contract to the Area Agency on Aging, Eastern Carolina Council, and authorize the chairman of the board to execute the contract documents.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sheriff Hans Miller, here to present for the Internet Crimes Against Children Grant.
Good evening, Commissioners, staff. It is my pleasure to present this grant for you this evening. The Onslow County Sheriff's Office was awarded a grant for $63,101 for the purpose of software, forensic equipment, hardware, and training for the investigation of Internet crimes against children. The awarding agency is the North Carolina Sheriff's Association. These funds are allocated as a 100% reimbursement. No matching funds are required. Funds will be used to purchase a forensic tower, laptops, digital forensic platforms, and training for investigators. Onslow County Sheriff's Office is a current member of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, and this is the work I used to do a long time ago. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners accept the grant award, approve the corresponding budget amendment, and authorize the chairman and/or manager to execute the necessary documents to effectuate the county's approval of the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, I think Mr. DeSalms, you're up next with the setting of the Sheriff and Register of Deeds salaries.
Yes, sir. In accordance with North Carolina General Statute 153A-92, the Board of Commissioners has the duty to set the pay for certain elected officials, including the Sheriff and the Register of Deeds. Based upon current inflation and economic factors, the Board of Commissioners is requested to set these annual salaries for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023. The proposed salaries are for Sheriff Hans Miller of $119,645, and for the Register of Deeds, Amiga Jarman, $84,439.76. If approved, these salaries would be effective July 1, and unless otherwise specified by the board, would also be eligible for the cost of living and market adjustment that was awarded to all the other employees.
Thank you, Mr. DeSalms. Will we,
Hold up just a second. Go ahead.
go ahead. Will we, we're going to do these both together, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, if it's okay with the board, I would recuse myself from this vote, simply because of the perception of it. I think as far as general statute is concerned, it is my duty to vote on this, but when I ran for this, I told folks that if anything come along with the sheriff's salary, that would be something that I would not vote on, with the sheriff actually being my father-in-law. So if the board is okay with that.
I would make a motion to that.
Second.
All right, anybody opposed or all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve the salary increases.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Brett, what would the salary be just with the 10% COLA for each office there?
Well, currently, Sheriff Miller makes $109,645, so there would be a 10% increase in that, which would bring it up about $10,000, almost $11,000. I can get you the exact number. It would be an addition of $10,964.50. Amiga Jarman's current salary is $74,439, so it'd be approximately a $7,400 raise with the 10%.
Okay, with the 10%, I would think that the 10% is more than fair and brings them in line with the scale that you sent out to the commissioners. As I looked at it, the 10% COLA brought the Register of Deeds in line with other Register of Deeds in the Southeast, and
The sheriff, I think it brought him in line based on experience. You know, if I remember correctly, looking at that with the years of experience of surrounding sheriffs and commensurate with the population of counties. So I would be in favor of simply just going with the COLA, which is going to bring them up 10% anyway, which is more than fair.
Any other discussion?
I think what we've done is set the precedent for, I think the sheriff does a lot more than what he gets paid for, and I think the Register of Deeds does as well, and I think it's important. You got people in positions of leadership, they need to be rewarded for that positions of leadership because they engage in responsibilities. And, you know, the sheriff is immensely qualified, more than qualified. I've known him since 1990. He's got a ton of experience. Actually, his salary is low compared to some other counties. And I think the salary was low for Ms. Jarman as well. And we need to compensate those people. And I know we're going to have some people say, well, they're getting paid all this money. Well, there's a huge responsibility that goes with both positions. And I'm in favor of keeping it as written here and as proposed to keep the salaries as stated in the agenda.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 4-1. Thank you, Mr. Sims. Resolutions for the change in fire district boundaries. Mr. Norman Bryson.
Good evening, Vice Chairman and Commissioners. This item before you is a resolution to change the fire district boundaries between the Half Moon Volunteer Fire Department and the Northwest Onslow Fire District, which is covered by Richlands Volunteer Fire Department. This change would allow for currently 86 homes which are in Class 9E or 10 rated ISO areas, Insurance Service Office areas, to be changed over where they would at least get a Class 6 rating. This is a significant change. It would collectively bring in these 86 homes a savings of $124,000 in insurance premiums annually. Also, the change of this will affect a future 500 proposed homes. If you added those additional 500 homes at an estimated value of $200,000 a year, you would be saving an additional $720,000 annually in insurance premiums over this area. So basically on this, and I believe we have a this is the proposed Half Moon Fire District. As you look up into the very northern end of this corner where the road intersects with Quaker Bridge Road, you see the stateside subdivision into that area. This is the area that we're looking to take into this. I'd like to remind people that insurance districts are based off of road mileage from a rated fire department. The reason this area has been 9E or Class 10 before is because there was no roads that went into this area. As we grew and our subdivision developed, then we got additional roads and were able to change this over by moving this area into the Half Moon Fire District. And of course, this is the change with Richlands, which was taking that area back away. And again, it is reducing these homes from a 10 or 9E down to a Class 6 rating. It is respectfully requested that the Board of County Commissioners review the proposed map and consider approval of the resolution to change the fire district boundaries of Northwest Onslow and Half Moon Fire Districts. And if approved, authorize the chairman to sign the resolution on behalf of the board.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just got a question in reference to, do we have any more pockets of citizens that's in the same category in this other districts?
Same category where we're looking at that we can easily do a change, not that we're currently aware of. Do we have areas in this county where we have pockets of Class 10 ISO ratings? Yes, sir, we do have a few pockets that are remaining.
I think we need to work as hard as we can to get those citizens where they can get the ratings also. I commend your staff and stuff for doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion or questions?
That's the average over $1,400 a year for those 86 people. That's awesome.
It's a great
Thank you.
job saving citizens money on that, sure enough. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bryson.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, we have Ms. Lisa Marlin.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman, Commissioners. On November 15th, 2021, the county's independent audit firm, Elliott Davis, presented the results of the fiscal year 2021 audit to the Board of Commissioners. During this presentation, the firm's representative, Ms. Leanne Bagasala, noted the auditor's findings, recommendations, and fiscal matters. These plans have already been put into action by management, and the corrective plan of action for finding 2021-001 is also contained in the county's annual comprehensive financial statements or report, page 195. Pursuant to NCAC 03.0508, the governing body is required to develop a written response to the auditor's findings, recommendations, and fiscal matters that must be signed by a majority of its members. This response must be submitted to the local government commission. It is respectfully requested that the board authorize a majority of its members to sign the response letter on behalf of the county. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Marlin. And we'll let you stay around. No need for you to go back and sit down.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. The following projects were closed at the May 6th, 2019 Board of Commissioners meeting. However, the accounting entries done to move the excess project funds to the general fund in order to pay debt service were incorrect. The project ordinance amendments presented will allow for an accounting correction to those projects. Those projects are the 800 megahertz system, Coastal Carolina Community College building maintenance, Dixon Middle School construction, Government Center, CHS building, Jail and Sheriff's Office demo, and the Sneads Ferry Library project. Respectfully request approval of the amended project ordinances for the 800 megahertz system, Coastal Carolina Community College building maintenance, Dixon Middle School construction, Government Center, CHS building, Jail and Sheriff's Office demo, and the Sneads Ferry Library, and authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the county. And I'll be happy to take your questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Lisa, we're going to let you stick
I'm gonna
around for a
stay.
few more of these.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chairman. The state of North Carolina authorized counties to participate in ARPA initiatives to bring broadband service to sparsely populated areas that are in need of connectivity. On March 21st, 2022, the board approved $250,000 of ARPA funds as the local contribution to an entity that applies and receives the highest points and secures the state grant award for Onslow County. Staff identified ARPA funds of $250,000 that are available due to current projects coming in under budget. This amendment reflects these changes to the project ordinance. We respectfully request approval of the amended project ordinance for the ARPA grant ordinance and authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the county.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
One more time.
Got it.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. The following budget amendments for fiscal year 21-22 are requested for your approval. Item B75 is a request by the Register of Deeds to increase revenue and expenditures due to increase in vital records automated system services. Item B76 is a request by EMS to utilize insurance proceeds to purchase replacement equipment. Item B77 is to increase the disaster contingency fund using general fund balance. Item B78 is a request by tax to increase budget due to a lengthy appeal. Item B79 is a request by the Sheriff's Office for the grant that was accepted earlier this evening. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider the listed budget amendments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question about the transfer to the disaster contingency. What is that number at now, and why do we need the additional $5 million transferred?
It is just over $5 million currently, and 2 years ago, the board wanted to commit to getting that up to $10 million. So we're, with the general fund balance the way it is currently, we determined that this would be a really good time to make that move.
This is not making a net change in fund balance. It's simply, all of this is still in fund balance. We're simply labeling another $5 million as a set aside for disaster contingency. So what would have happened if we had another major hurricane and we needed more than $5 million? We'd be taking fund balance to pay for that. What we're doing is making sure we have a set aside of at least $10 million based on what some of the contracts cost us up front last time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think you're finished, Lisa.
I think
Thank
I
you
am.
very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Have appointments to our Airport Advisory Commission. Ms. Griffin?
Thank you. Thank you. And we do have 7 different boards tonight that are needing appointments, and I will go through these as efficiently as possible. The first is the Airport Advisory Commission. As all of you know, it's comprised of 7 members and 1 commissioner liaison. Their mission is to advise the airport director and the Board of Commissioners on issues related to the operation and development of our county's Albert J. Ellis Airport. Mr. Lee Hoffman, Richlands Township category, resigned from the commission on March 11th, 2022. Mr. Michael Shannon Whaley has expressed a willingness to serve on this commission and has provided a citizen participation application, which is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office. At this time, we respectfully request the consideration of Mr. Michael Shannon Whaley for the Richlands Township seat of the Airport Advisory Commission for a remaining 3-year term expiring September 30th, 2023.
Motion to approve. I didn't realize that was his first name.
Yes.
Because we've all been knowing him as Shannon Whaley all these years.
That's right.
Shannon?
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Fantastic. Thank you.
Start calling him Mike.
Our next board is the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. It is comprised of 5 board members appointed by the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. Board members are appointed to serve on the board for terms of 3 years and can serve for 3 consecutive terms. It provides oversight related to the operation of the 6 ABC stores in Onslow County. Mr. James Michael Capps and Ms. Cynthia Wan's terms will expire on June 30th, 2022. They have both expressed an interest in continuing to serve on this board and have provided a citizen participation application for reappointment, which is on file and has been certified by the clerk to the board. We do respectfully ask you to respectfully consider the appointment of Mr. James Michael Capps and Ms. Cynthia Wan for a 3-year term expiring on June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Our next board is the Eastern Carolina Workforce Development Board, which is a 28-member board of directors governing the Eastern Carolina Workforce Development Board in partnership with the local elected officials. It is the designated administrative and fiscal agent for the federal and state workforce development funds that are appropriated by the North Carolina Department of Commerce to operate employment and training services in a 9-county local area. The board has requested the appointment of Ms. Veronica Perez, who would be representing the private sector, and Ms. Lindsay Gress, representing the public sector. Additionally, Eastern Carolina Workforce Development Board has requested a waiver of the residency requirement for Ms. Lindsay Gress. Ms. Gress works in Onslow County but resides in Carteret County. Eastern Carolina Workforce Development Board has expressed the challenges of finding the most qualified applicant for this mandated category. The applications are on file and have been certified by the clerk's office. We respectfully request the appointment of Ms. Veronica Perez, private sector, and Ms. Lindsay Gress, public sector, for a 2-year term ending June 30th, 2024, and approve the waiver of residency for Ms. Gress, who resides in Carteret County.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, our fourth board this evening is the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. The Onslow County Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee strives to effectively assess the wishes of the citizens of Onslow County regarding the needs, planning, and management for the quality of parks, facilities, and recreation programs while advocating for the improvement of these programs. Currently, there is an available seat in the Jacksonville Township category. Mr. Corey David Case has expressed interest in serving in this category. His application is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office. We do respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider appointment of Mr. Corey David Case, Jacksonville Township, for a remaining 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Our fifth board this evening is the Onslow County Planning Board. Planning Board members are selected by expertise, such as environmental or location of residence, such as Stump Sound Township, in order to provide for a board with broad balance. Mr. Jack Sides, Stump Sound Township, Mr. Brennan Williams, White Oak Township, and Miss Melissa Keeps, Environmental Representative, all have terms expiring July 31st, 2022. They have each expressed an interest in serving their respective categories and have provided a citizen participation application, which is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office. No other individuals expressed an interest in these seats at this time. We ask you to respectfully consider the reappointment of Mr. Jack Sides, Stump Sound Township, Mr. Brennan Williams, White Oak Township, and Miss Melissa Keeps of the Environmental Representative for a 3-year term expiring July 31st, 2025.
Motion?
So moved.
Motion and a
Second.
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 Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Okay. Our sixth board this evening is the Holly Ridge Planning Board for the extraterritorial jurisdiction seat. The Holly Ridge Planning Board is comprised of 7 members. Currently, there is an available seat in the alternate ETJ category. Ms. Tony J. Harden has expressed interest in serving in this category. No other individuals expressed an interest, and the application is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office. We respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider appointment of Ms. Tony J. Harden in the alternate ETJ category for a 3-year term expiring June 20th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We are finally to our last board this evening, the Town of Holly Ridge Board of Adjustment. During their September 12th, 2017 regular meeting, the Town of Holly Ridge adopted an ordinance change to create a separate Board of Adjustment from their planning board. The Board of Adjustment consists of 5 regular members and 2 alternate members. 1 alternate member must be a citizen and resident of the Town of Holly Ridge and be appointed by the Town Council of the Town of Holly Ridge. The other alternate member shall be a citizen and resident of Onslow County who resides outside the Town of Holly Ridge but within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the Town of Holly Ridge.
So moved.
We do respectfully request that you consider the reappointment of Ms. Tony J. Harden, ETJ category, for a 3-year term expiring June 20th, 2025, and the application is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to the consent agenda items. I was just waiting for Ms. Griffin to continue. She was on a roll there, so we have nothing from the consent agenda. Back to Ms. Griffin.
Back to me because you haven't heard me talk enough. I'm sorry about that. I do have just one quick manager's comment. Upcoming, we do have our 38th Annual Freedom Festival. And it will be, of course, on July 4th at Onslow Pines Park. It's from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to have food vendors, amusement rides for the kids, exhibitors, live music, and of course fireworks at 9 p.m. So we just want to invite citizens to come out to that, and that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Fantastic. Take to commissioner comments. We'll start with Commissioner Scott.
Okay, well, it's been an exciting weekend. We had approximately 6, maybe 7 events with the June tea. And I'm extremely proud of Onslow County, the city of Jacksonville, and everybody that participated in those events. It was really, really inspiring. Onslow County done great. But I want to give a special shout out to our Parks and Recs. They've been out there every weekend or every other weekend for the last longest. So we need to give them a good shout out, and Director White is doing an outstanding job. And I really appreciate it. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve, and I hope y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Then we'll go to Commissioner Buchanan.
Thank you. Thank everybody for being here. We lost a friend and a colleague last week in Delmer Collins. He was a former county commissioner. He was also a deputy chief of police at the police department where I worked as a captain. He's going to be very missed. He was a great, he was instrumental in a lot of things that happened in Onslow County, especially dealing as a commissioner and a lot of things that he did at the police department where I worked. He was just an outstanding individual, and he's going to be missed, and keep his family in his prayers. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Bennett.
Thank you, sir. You're jumping all around. We don't know where to go next. Thank everybody for being here tonight. We were able to attend our legislative day and speak with some of our representatives in Raleigh last week. We appreciate what they do, and the many things that they do affect what we do here in Onslow County. So it's good to stay in touch with them and try to make sure that the legislation that they pass in Raleigh isn't detrimental to citizens of Onslow County. So we had some good meetings last week. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks.
Commissioner Price.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank our local delegation to the North Carolina State Legislature for the meetings we had last week. We had great meetings with Senator Lazara, Representative Phil Shepard, Representative George Cleveland, and Representative Carson Smith, who will be represented four of our precincts beginning in December, I believe. So we got a chance to meet with all those guys and different perceptions and different points of view on some of the major legislation, such as Medicaid expansion. It was kind of enlightening there, the different perspectives that each of those guys brought to the table there. So I got a lot out of that, and we got a chance to provide some feedback back and forth with that. Also, I hope you had a great weekend with celebrating Juneteenth, or with your father, or if your dad's no longer with you, I hope you had fond memories of your dad this weekend and remembered the impact he had on your life and the life of others as well. So have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
Commissioner Knapp.
Just a few words real quick. I echo what Commissioner Buchanan said about Delmer Collins. I had a chance to work with him extensively in his department when our departments worked on a co-agency task force and stuff like that. And I've had several talks with Delmer, so my heart goes out to his family and prayers. He did a lot for Onslow County, not just as the deputy chief, but he did a lot as a commissioner as well. So I thank him for everything that he's done, and I hope his family I hope they're being blessed right now and they're comforted for this terrible moment. One of the things I want to talk about real quick, and some of you may not want to listen to it, but that's all right. You know, we have a tough job here as commissioners with the budget, and we try to figure things out, and we try to be fiscally conservative as possible. There's still some disagreements on there, but one thing that is essential is when we looked at the budget this year, with the rising inflation rate, right now it's at 8.6. It was 8.3 last month, and it's continuing to rise, and as you all know, fuel prices are rising. And we have to do something to compensate our employees, and we gave them a 10% across the board. About 98% of the people were very happy about that, and they sent emails and text messages to the commissioners, and I received one. But I'll tell you an incident that happened yesterday. My wife and I were sitting on the porch. We put together 2 rocking chairs, That's what she wanted, and we spent a couple of hours doing her porch, and the lady knows who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention her name, but she lives in my neighborhood, and I've seen her walk by back and forth, and she walked in front of my house, and we were sitting in the rocking chairs on our porch, and she stopped, and she said, "Commissioner Knapp," and I said, "Yes, ma'am." She says, "Can I come in your yard?" She said, "Sure, come up to the porch." And she wanted to say thank you to the commissioners and to me specifically for the 10% and how much it meant. Now, to most people, that wouldn't mean a lot, but to me, that meant a whole lot. That made me feel good that we're trying to do something for the employees of Onslow County, a well-deserved cost of living adjustment that needs to be made in lieu of what's going on with the current economy. We can't control the economy, but we can control what we can spend or what we can provide to the employees of the county who are the backbone of our government. Without them, we would not be sitting here. And when we made that 10%, we thought about it very, very thoroughly and discussed it amongst ourselves to make sure that we could afford that because that's what they deserve. And then I hear things about salaries sometimes, and I want to clear the air about that. You know, I hear about salaries. You know, some people are making this amount of money, some people are making that amount of money. Okay, let's put this into context, okay? These are division heads, okay? For example, the sheriff, he's in charge of over 350-man department, okay? And he's been the sheriff for 2 terms now, and he's got a wealth of law enforcement experience. We've got Ms. Jarman, who's in charge of the Register of Deeds, okay? She's got a big responsibility because anything that happens in this county falls on her. So when you talk about pay raises and salaries, we try to keep it commensurate with their experience and the position of responsibility that they're in. Okay, the responsibility of the sheriff is great. The responsibility of the Register of Deeds is great. And even greater is the responsibility of the county manager. She's got 24 departments that she's in charge of. And not only that, she's in charge of a budget, okay, that is 81% mandated. So when I hear people say and they complain about the salaries, I'll be honest with you, that upsets me. It bugs me, okay, because I think that they deserve more, to be honest with you, for all the work that they do. And the countless time they're on the phone, the countless time that they're spending their off-duty time on Saturday and Sunday and working 12, 15 hours a day just to make things right for the county. So I just wanted to say congratulations to you guys. I think you well deserve it. And I hope the employees will see that we do care as a Board of County Commissioners for our employees, and we recognize the fact that they're our most valuable asset. And we have to keep people in place and compensate them for the job that they're doing and going above and beyond. And we'll probably see that this year, don't want to jinx it, but that we are in hurricane season. And like last time, I'm sure the county employees will rise to the surface. But thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say, and I appreciate you coming. Have a great weekend, or week.
Thank you, Commissioner Knapp. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. We appreciate your attendance and a lot of work put in tonight's budget appointments. And Ms. Lisa Marlin up there at the podium for quite a while as well. And thank you to Ms. Jarman and Sheriff Miller for their work. And I know the citizens of Onslow County benefit from what y'all do, and we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody that is in county government providing the services to the citizens. We appreciate that. And with that being said, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we're adjourned.